Hello traders, another episode of our midweek analysis video, and I do want to apologize. Yesterday I never released any video in regards now to our midweek analysis video, but here we are today. So, where are we? So one thing that I do want to mention is that I did suffer a big loss today in the morning on Euro USD, and I think I sent out that setup to my Telegram community. But anyway, it happens. It happens. There are some things that I overlooked. Anyway, if you took that trade, I really do want to apologize. But anyway, let's just go ahead and do our analysis. So I want this video to be very quick. Actually, I've set my timer. It's now the 6:16 p.m. my time. So by the time we are hitting 6:30, we'll be done, okay? So anyway, so it's the sprint. So this is the daily chart for the DXY, and as you can see, we tapped into this demand zone, and then this is the reaction that we got. Remember, all this price action, we've gone through it in our previous video. You understand, I do hope that you understand this price action because I kept on repeating it on our last, I think, 2 to 3 videos, okay? So right now, what can we expect? We did break structure to the upside, the fractal structure to the upside. Our expectation is for price to pull back into some level of value. That could be a demand zone. That could be an FVG. Yeah, in the lower time frames. So we'll be able to check that. So we did break structure. We are waiting for the market to come into a supply area, and as you can see on the daily time frame, we really don't have a supply area except for these buy to sell wicks. All right, these are called buy to sell wicks. So we may see some price action or some form of retracement, which probably will initiate this fractal pullback, or even in the lower time frames, we may get a supply level that we can work with. But for now, this is the price action that we are getting. We did break fractal structure to the upside. We haven't gotten that pullback. That is what we are waiting for in order now for us to buy with the dominant trend, because at the moment we are just waiting to capitalize on the pullback. Remember, this is where we broke structure to the downside, and now we are just waiting for the pullback to come into the I like to target the mean threshold or the 50% of this range. So let's just measure that real quick. So this is the high. You measure from the high. So that is the high to the low. Okay. Which is at that point. The other area that normally forms an area of interest is really using the fib tool, and this is what we are getting with the fib tool. Um, so that is it. So you can see the 61.8, which I like to call the golden key level, aligns perfectly with this supply zone that we are having. So those are the two areas. At least if we are to buy the DXY, at least we should expect to buy all the way to the upside. Let's just move to the 1 hour. See what we have on the 1 hour. As you can see, we did change the internal trend. And the reason why we are looking at the internal trend, because some people may be confused, especially those who trade SNC and those who understand the structures that we trade. Remember, we trade the swing structure, we have the internal structure, and also the fractal structure. So if you trade or if you do trade or your trading strategy is SMC, I hope you understand these structures. So this is where we broke the swing structure, and ever since we've been trading the internal structure. So as you can see, we did the internal structure has maintained has been bullish. So this is the last piece of structure that we broke to the upside. Okay. This is where we broke it to the upside. And right now we are just pulling back. And where are we pulling back to? We did have these that demand zone. So that is one of the key areas of interest that I'm looking at. And also we have these other extreme, now the extreme demand zone. And the reason why I favor these demand zone is the fact that we do have an imbalance right in front of it. So that makes it a good area to target. So that is it. So once we tap into a demand zone, especially right now, we are in a demand zone. All I'm just waiting for is for my entry model to play out. Once it does that, then I'm looking to go long. So if I'm looking to go long on the DXY, what does that mean? Now for the other currencies, especially EURUSD, GBPUSD, I'm looking to go short. So let's look at that. So this is the chart for EURUSD, and we're gonna start with the we're gonna start with the daily chart. Yeah, so this is the daily chart for EURUSD, and as you can see, tapped into a supply area. We got that change of character. The market pulled back a little. So this is GBPUSD. Anyway, let's just do GBPUSD, then go to EURUSD. So anyway, tapped into a supply area, got that change of character. The market has pulled back, and now we are maintaining that bearish. Um, we are maintaining that bearish structure. So this is the fractal protected high, and this is the high that we should expect to get respected if the bearishness is to continue. All right. So that is the fractal high that we expect to see getting respected. And by respected, I mean our price shouldn't weak. It shouldn't break it, even just by a week. That shouldn't happen. If that does happen, then it means that buyers are kind of taking control. Again, they are taking control of the market. So if we are to maintain this pullback, if we are to see that continuation of that pullback, at least this high shouldn't be taken out. All right. I hope that is clear. So that is the fractal low, and this is the fractal high. So this is the range that we are working with. So targeting what? Targeting at least this first demand zone. And if you're like me, you could also work with these sell to buy wicks. All right. So, and also again, I do want to mention that this is just an obvious area of liquidity. A very clean, let me just use that. It's just a very clean area of liquidity, and that is liquidity to target. Okay. So that is some liquidity to target. This clean lows for me. Anyway, let's just move to the 1 hour, and this is what we have on the 1 hour. Remember these are the lows that I just talked about, and as you can see, they are just a clean liquidity area. We bounced off once, bounced off again twice. So I don't know. But looking at the 1 hour, remember we are following also the fractal structure, and as you can see, GBPUSD has been very interesting because we did break internal structure to the upside. Okay, and remember, also if you look at this point, we did break that internal structure to the upside, and then almost within the same day, we did see the market actually breaking to the downside. So it was how should I put it? It was kind of messy price action according to me, because once we start to move, I like to see the market respecting or the market moving in one direction, not just not having the market break the high and then at the same time break the low. That kind of gives me mixed signals. So for now, as you can see, we broke structure to the upside. All right, we broke structure to the upside, but we are approaching this supply level. Let's just wait and see the reaction that we get. If we do break it, if we do break and close above this internal targeted high, then that means that this bullish trend is being confirmed. All right, that the buyers at this particular moment, and actually, if you look at that, we are maintaining that bullish structure, all right? So for me, I'm just waiting to see what will happen right there. Let's just wait and see whether we break and close above the internal targeted high. If we do, then I'm just looking for a pullback and then buy, all right? Just looking for a pullback and then continue buying with the dominant trend. But also, it's good to also mention what's happening with the DXY. Remember, the DXY, we are looking for it to finish that pullback and then continue buying. So we may see a situation where this move may not be sustained. We may see a situation where we may look to target this liquidity. This is just a clean area to target. So let's just wait and see the price action that we get from this level. If that doesn't happen, then also from that, from this supply level. So those are the two key areas of interest that I'm looking at. So moving on to Euro USD. Euro USD, again, we're gonna start with the daily. Just to recap, you see, Euro USD has a very, very good and clean sustained move to the downside. You can see sellers are really in control of this market. We broke the fractal structure, and right now we are just waiting to pull back into some area of value. Once we pull back, then we continue with the pullback, because all we are just waiting to do is just to play this pullback. All right, so let's just go to the 1 hour, and 1 hour really gives us those zones to trade from. As you can see, Euro USD, we are trading the internal structure. And as you can see also, remember, this is where we broke the swing trend to the downside. If we see the internal targeted, internal protected high getting broken, that really tells us that the swing trend has begun. So how should we trade this? The way that we need to trade these, or the way that we should trade these, is just anyway, if we see, let me just repeat that. If we see the internal protected high getting taken out, remember the internal trend is to the downside. We are maintaining these trend to the downside. But if we do, if we get these eyeballs, if we get these break of structure to the upside, that confirms to us that the swing pullback has already begun. So how should we trade that? We need to wait for the pullback to come to any of the areas of value. That is one. But more importantly, we need to see the market pulling back at least to the 50% of that range. So let's just measure that. So that is the this is the high. We need to measure from the low to the sorry, from the high to the low. That's it. So at least we need to see the market coming all the way to the 50%. So if we see this getting taken out, then we need to buy all the way to the 50%, which is 1.08434. So, but for me, I like to target the golden key level, which is 0.618, or the 61.8 fib level. And also looking at this, we do have a very, very nice supply area that we can target. Okay. which makes sure that we've taken out all this liquidity and also fill some of these imbalances to the upside. So that is how I'm looking at these currencies. Right now, I'm just sitting and waiting to see if we take out this internal protected high. If we do take out that internal protected high, it means that the swing pullback has begun. And this is the level, I think this is the level where the daily change of character happened. So if we can just activate that, let's just see if it's the same, but I think it's the same. Yeah. So you see how the lower time frames kind of complements what's happening on the higher time frames. So that is how I am looking to trade this currency. All right. So that is how I'm looking to trade. Um, yeah. So let's just look at USDJPY. USDJPY. I haven't been trading USDJPY for quite some time. I think the last 2 weeks. Anyway, this is what we are having. We did get this change of character. Remember in the, I think last week's video, we hadn't gotten that change of character, but as you can see, right now we did get that change of character. And right now I'm just sitting and waiting to see if we break the internal, because the momentum that we are going to the upside with kind of tells me that there's a high possibility we may see the internal protected high getting taken out. So what does that mean? That means that the swing pullback has begun. So how should we trade that? Again, we buy targeting the 50% of this swing range. So let's just measure that. So that is it. We buy targeting what? Targeting the 50%. But what can we see? We do have that nice supply area to work with. Anyway, so once we break that, once we break the internal protected high, all I'm just waiting for is a pullback into an area of value, then by targeting what? Targeting the 50%, the 50% of this swing range. Of course, we will be guided by the lower time frames, and that is why we go to the 1 hour. And 1 hour, what can we see? We can see that the trend is being maintained. The 1 hour, the swing trend is being maintained. So we did have that 1 hour swing pause or the break of structure to the upside again, maintaining that trend. So if we can just, how should we trade this? We did break that trend to the upside. And also, as you can see, the internal. So the internal and the swing trend are all aligned, which is very, very good for us. So how should we trade this? We should wait for the market to come back into some of these areas of value. We do have this demand block that we can work with. So let's just wait to see the reaction that we get from that demand, from that demand, from this 1 hourly demand order block. So once we tap into it, then what I'm just looking to do is to buy this currency to the upside. Of course, looking at you have to tie in with the liquidity concepts. As you can see, that is a roll resistance liquidity, and we may use that as inducement. All right. We may use that as inducement. So it's important to note that. Also, so these kind of looks are more of a clean demand zone to work with. Based on the fact that we may use, not will, but we may use these lows as the liquidity to target. Yeah, and I think that is my analysis. I think that is my analysis. I think I'm done. Um, I don't see anything. I don't see anything else to add. So those are the zones that I'm looking to trade. Those are the areas that I'm looking to take my trades from. So to recap, let's just look at Euro USD. So Euro USD, I did tell you that if we do break these internal protected high, then I'm just looking for a pullback and then continuation buying until we buying until the 50% of the swing range. Now for GBPUSD, on the other hand, GBPUSD, the price action is really not that clear. As you can see, I don't know. I don't know for GBPUSD, cause anyway, if anything, I'll just buy, all right? Because that is the trend. But then that contradicts what we have on the DXY. So on the DXY, let's just look at it again, see what we are having. So the DXY, as you can see, we are kind of bearish. If that is to be maintained, then my bias, what we just saw on these other pairs, remains. If this bearishness, the bearishness that we are seeing coming into the market, gets maintained until, or gets maintained to the point that we break this internal protected low, and then the bias that we just saw on Euro USD, GBP USD, that remains. That we may see that buy to the upside, right? But let's just wait and see how the DXY interacts with the demand at these levels. Okay. So let's just wait and see what happens. So until next time, bye bye.